Hello, 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 and welcome to the Random Talks where we speak of everything and nothing at the same damn time. You guys asked, and I shall deliver. Let's do more listener confessions and stories. So if you aren't familiar with the page, we have a segment at the end of my videos called Pillow Talk. That's basically where I speak about listener stories and confessions, but once a month we do a Pillow Talk episode where I speak entirely, well, mostly about listener stories and confessions. This listener said, all right, so this might just be an am I the asshole kind of confession that I might already know the answer to. LOL. And a long one, so bear with me now. Am I the asshole for hanging out with my 25 male, ex 27 male, and his friends at the club on Valentine's Day with my date 27 male? We listening and we not judging, right? But if I was judging... Right. Okay. My ex and I dated for nearly 3 years and ended things back in November last year. We were long distance, about an hour and a half to 2 hour drive. Not that bad to be honest, but definitely not doing it again, haha. 2 hours is long distance for y'all? Oh, okay, so me and my friends just fucking large, cause we will drive 2 hours for some food any day. We will drive 2 hours for some festivities any day if it has something to do with food. We did it the other day. Long distance for me is like you're cutting 4 hours. Like that's when I'm like, okay, babe, get your big ass on that motherfucking train. That's long distance. But 2 hours is long distance for y'all? And probably the healthiest relationship I've had thus far. However, the last 18 months of the relationship, he had decided to work on a cruise ship, so that long distance ended up being harder to manage for me. I ended up losing feelings throughout that process as I had only seen him a handful of times. The distance made things feel stagnant for me, and my love for him fizzled out. I had an honest conversation about how I was feeling with him a few months before his contract was finished, and we decided to try to rekindle things when he came back. Went on a few dates with him in the span of a couple months, and I still wasn't feeling it, so we ended things, in the hopes of trying to be friends instead. He felt he needed some space from me until he was ready, and I agreed. So we've been no contact since then, kinda. His birthday passed in December, and I sent him a happy birthday text because I felt it was the right thing to do, and not sending one felt even more weird for me, I guess. He also sent me one on my birthday in January, but other than that, still no contact. Fast forward to January 2nd, and I meet this guy on Grindr, and we hook up. Shocking. And I even ended up staying the night with him, which I never do. I don't know why. I guess the cuddles were just too good, and maybe the newfound singleness I had made me want to try something new. Well, ended up deleting Grindr the day after, and we've literally been hanging out and going on dates with each other almost every weekend since then. Definitely on the road to being boyfriends. It's cute. Now, one might argue that I may have moved on too fast from my previous relationship, but maybe I had already moved on since those few months prior to me and my ex breaking up. I don't know. Fast forward to Valentine's Day. My date and I, let's call him Jay, decided to have a trip at an amusement park where it just so happens to be my ex's city, which was not intentional. Pretty popular amusement park, so why not? We decided to go clubbing in the evening, and this is where shit hits the fan, and probably where I fucked up. As we were in line to enter this one club, I see my ex's friend, and we make eye contact. I decided to say hi and be friendly because shit, we're at the club. I'm trying to have a good time, and it'd be even weirder if I didn't, considering there wasn't any beef or anything. Afterwards, Jay and I are doing our own thing, drinking and dancing. Mind you, with my back turned to the entrance, so I ain't paying attention to anybody else but us. I feel a tap on my shoulder, and lo and behold, it's my ex. He strikes up conversation with me and says hi to Jay, being friendly. I'm like, wow, okay, this is great. He came up to me, we're vibing, and he's being friendly. My dumbass decides to take it to the next level and ask him if it'd be cool if we hung out with him and his friends for a bit, and he says yes. Guess my reasoning was that we're at the club and trying to have a good time. The vibes are good. We said we wanted to be friends, so why not? We go meet up with his friends and everyone's all smiles, and I feel like we are genuinely having a good time with each other. I was even catching up with one of his friends whom I already knew, and everyone seemed cool with the fact that Jay was there as well. After a bit, me and Jay go back to doing our own thing, and then we left the club to go to another one, and the rest of the night goes on, yada yada yada. My ex messaged me that night asking if I was going all the way back home or not, and I didn't see it until the morning. I wasn't, by the way. We had a hotel room, and I think he was just concerned about us driving all the way back home after a night of drinking, which is fair. So I responded back to him in the morning, and then after that, he proceeds to text me saying that last night was weird for him. I was like, yeah, haha, me too. I wasn't expecting to see you, to be honest, my bad. I felt that was true because honestly, I was just focused on me and Jay having a good time. He then says, I'm paraphrasing here, nah, what's weird was that you decided to hang out with me and my friends with your date on Valentine's Day. Like, I would just never do that to you, and writes a pretty long paragraph about it. Now, I'm caught off guard with this text because what the fuck? Looking back, yes, I understand that on paper, shit looks bad. You're right, that is kind of fucking weird, right? That's just not the vibes I was getting that night, and that thought just didn't occur to me. He also said that he only came up to me to be civil, and it's like, girl, if that's how you really felt, you shouldn't have done all that, because I wasn't even aware that you were around until you tapped me on my shoulder, shaking my head. But after he explained it to me, I apologized and we talked about it. What really got me was that he was saying how a couple of his friends wanted to beat me up in that moment. Not actually just being overprotective friends, I get it. Because of what I did, and that's what really pissed me off. Because how are y'all gonna give me all smiles and good vibes the entire night but was actually feeling a different type of way? All that fake shit, and now I'm sitting here looking back feeling foolish as fuck for thinking y'all were also having a genuine time with me, like I had with y'all. He said they were being nice because he wanted them to be. I would have rather had y'all just be honest with how y'all felt and we could have went our separate ways. Now, if I recall, I asked him if it was cool to hang out with his friends and he said yes. I just feel like if he didn't want all that to happen, he could have said no in that moment. We're all adults here. Saying no wouldn't be that hard, but I don't know, maybe it was hard for him. How can I really blame him for that? I decided to sum up that situation as just a very socially inept moment for me. Lessons were learned that night, and trust and believe I will not be making that same mistake again. Haha. That happened, and honestly, I felt the text messages were pretty respectful, and we had still had good communication about it. We said to each other that we would FaceTime and play games with each other the following weekend, as a start to our friendship. But that ended up not happening, and then I come to find out that he blocked me on Instagram. So yeah, definitely don't think we're gonna be friends anytime soon, haha. Our other mutual friends think we'll be friends again, just not right now. But I guess only time will tell. Sorry, this was a long one. Love your channel very much. Keep up the great content, rooting for you. Thank you, I appreciate that. Yeah, you fucked up. Ooh, I hate to say it. I hate to say it, cause you did fuck up. I just don't think it's something I would do. I do feel like if they offered, then that'd be different. But you invited yourself, and it'd be awkward for him to be like, nah, like, I don't want you and your new man to come hang out with us in front of your new man, like, or even in front of you. Like, that's just, it's awkward, It's just an awkward situation. I personally would not have done that because I would have felt awkward because I'm being booed up with my nigga. Okay? I'm being booed up with the person that I brought to the club. That's just off rip. But to do that in front of my ex that I was with for 3 years, that definitely probably hurt him. Like, if I seen my ex do that to me and we dated 6 months ago, we were only together for 6 months, I'd be torn. What do you mean you want to come and chill with me with your new ting in front of my face, in front of my friends? The awkwardness is just not for me. And I also understand why the friends ain't say shit too. Because it's just an awkward situation. What do you mean? I know they're like, I'm going to be nice because he's here, but we're going to talk about him when he leaves. And I know, and I guarantee that's exactly what they did. They talked about y'all immediately. Like, did that just fucking happen? Yeah. I can't believe he even dared to do that. If it was my friend and I seen their ex do that to them, I'd be like, are you insane? I do feel like your ex could have spoken up, yes, but I could see them not speaking up simply because they didn't want things to be awkward. That's such a sad situation. I do feel bad for your ex. Because it's not even like, oh, we both fell out of love with each other. You fell out of love. You moved on really quickly. They probably still have feelings for you. Everyone operates at their own pace. Like, they probably still yearn for you. Ooh, speaking of yearning, I saw like a post on Instagram and it was like, oh, you don't know what real yearning is. Let me see if I find the post real quick.
People will call themselves yearners and then get over someone in 2 months. Like, you don't know about real yearning. 2 months. That's a minor inconvenience. That's the emotional equivalent of a paper cut. Okay, real yearning is trying to go so viral on TikTok that your videos still reach your ex even though you're blocked. All right? Real yearning is stopping by Sephora once in a while just to smell her perfume again. Real yearning is seeing someone who vaguely looks like them at Trader Joe's and needing a moment to collect yourself in the frozen section. I'm talking years post-breakup. And I will still remember which one of my hoodies she had on when she said something sweet on a random Tuesday night. Okay, that's yearning. I'm literally writing a book dedicated to her in the hopes that one day she walks past a bookstore window or comes across an article online that forces her to remember, yeah, I was once with a guy who loved me that much. And then she'll come to the book signing in Venice and take me back, and we'll live happily ever after. What do you know about yearning? Okay, call me when you build a playlist entitled Just in Case She Ever Comes Back.
Your ex probably still yearns for you. Again, you are the person that fell out of love. You are the person that left them. You are the person that didn't want to make it work. You are the person that moved on so quickly. And you're also the person that he probably still has dreams about. He probably thinks of you before bed or random moments in the day. Saying no to you might have been hard because even if you were with someone else, he still wanted to see you. Not saying that was one of the most healthiest decisions to make, but it was probably hard to say no to you, especially in front of, your new date that you seem to be having a really great time with. So even though I do understand your point of view, I feel like any yearner would most likely understand your ex's point of view too. And that's just some heart-to-heart shit. Like, that's just me being honest with you and truthful. I think the lesson to be learned here is to be a bit more emotionally aware of others and how they might react in the situation due to other key factors, The fact that you guys were together for 3 years and you moved on so fast. No? Just me? All right. The next listener states, hey, I'm pretty new to this channel, but since I've started watching it, I've had a great time listening to juicy stories you find. And I noticed, like you said in parentheses, your top videos are the ones with sexuality and gender. My confession is definitely relevant to those, so I hope it's thought-provoking, if not entertaining. Anyway, I'm a 17-year-old dude living with my parents, obviously. I am a trans man, and I've known this since 7th grade. I haven't come out to anyone other than my girlfriend. Let's call her Clara, who my parents also don't know about. We've been going out for 2 years now, and my parents still have no idea about us. She is 16 and Indian, so we mutually understand the difficulty of this dating news with immigrant parents. Our relationship has been going so amazingly, and we've only ever had 2 real fights. Unfortunately, she moved an hour away from my house near the beginning of our relationship, so we have not been able to see each other very much. We call weekly, and she's really the only person I text regularly. We even started having what we call silly convos, where we basically just sext each other. Oh, of course it was extremely cringy because neither of us knew what we were doing, but it was amazing to connect with her. We only had about 4 of our very fun and silly texts. Conversations before one night her parents took her iPad while Clara was away and read our messages. It was actually horrifying because the last messages were all deeply inappropriate and most of them were from me professing my love and attraction towards her, talking about what I wanted to do to her. Clara confessed to her parents about us and they were okay with it. Clara's mom had to convince her dad that it would be okay for us to go out, but Clara's dad definitely was against it. He set a bunch of rules for us. We can't text romantically. We cannot be silly. She can't refer to me by my preferred name or pronouns. And I'm not allowed to come over unless she does something impressive academically. His main concern was that I would distract her from school and she'd slip up. But now I'm being used as a carrot on a stick for her to overwork herself at school. I haven't actually seen her in months since her parents found out. Today she went on a debate tournament and her parents said, if she qualified for nationals at the tournament, I would be allowed to come over. Of course, Murphy's Law, she didn't qualify. So now I have no idea when I'll be seeing her again. We really love each other, but this relationship is difficult. We're both willing to work through it, but the stakes keep raising. Now I'm worried if my parents might find out about us. For the record, my mom is homophobic and is already upset I'm not her dream daughter, and both my parents are transphobic. Luckily, Clara and I have found our ways around some of the rules. We have a Google Doc where we type to each other and we send digital touch messages all the time. This is very overwhelming because I genuinely think her parents are crazy and they are only motivated by her grades. It's hard to stay connected with someone who you haven't seen in months and who you can't freely speak to. So we've been wondering if I should tell them flat out about the relationship in order to make them less suspicious about me being trans. We have no idea what the future holds for us, even though we've already made the fantasies about going to college together. But with her crazy parents and the threat of my parents disowning me for both the transness and the relationship, it has been hard to consider. My parents have made it clear that if I do anything they deem bad enough, I'll be sent to a Christian boarding school, and I genuinely think they will disown me when they find out about me being trans, if not the 2-year secret relationship. Her parents have agreed that they are sending her to India for college unless she gets into a top 20 college in the US. I don't know how true either of these threats are, but it's making our relationship so strained. As people, we are perfect together, but it seems like everything is trying to pull us apart. I know a lot of people would say we just need to break up since everything is tearing us apart. And I know this is childish. I would really hate to do that. We love each other and we are so amazing as a couple. She is such a kind, beautiful person inside and out. Anyway, love the channel and I'd appreciate hearing your wise words on this. Ooh, not the wise words. That just made me feel like a grandma for real. What do you mean wise words? I'm only 21. I'm gonna be honest with you, I have a couple things to say. I'm looking at the parents' point of view right now, which I'm not a parent, but I'm just looking at it from an adult's point of view. Let's just say that. How were her grades before? Like, how was she academically? Was she still thriving academically while being in a relationship with you? That's like one of the biggest questions that I would have. Is this relationship distracting you, or is it a relationship that you can be in and also focus on your future? Because at the end of the day, her parents are looking at it like, you can love who you love, but you gotta make sure you take care of the house. Like my mom would always have a saying, you can't leave a house with dirty dishes in the sink. And I know that sounds like, what are you talking about? I genuinely will never get my big ass up out of this bed and get my big ass up out of this house without having my home cleaned first. She meant it literally, but it's just like self-love. Like you need to take care of yourself before you go and love anyone else, because you need to know how it feels to be loved by yourself before you allow anyone else to love you in the way that you receive love. This is why I'm curious about her grades, because if her grades were fucked up and y'all were dating, I'm gonna be honest with you, I'm not a parent. I've gotten told that I might be a little bit of a strict parent, but you don't need to be in a relationship if you're not taking care of what you got to take care of, okay? I personally feel like you should not be focusing on a relationship if you're not taking care of your schoolwork, okay? If this house is not cleaned when you leave, like you have your chores to do, period, because my kids will have chores. You can get an allowance, but if you ain't doing your chores, you ain't gonna get no allowance. That's how it works. That's how it works in my house. Let me just make sure I say that. Let me specify. That's how it works in my house. But also, take care of your grades. You're not taking care of your grades, you don't need to be in a relationship, because those grades are what's gonna help your future. And listen, you don't have to go to college if you don't want to, but you're gonna make sure you're gonna get that high school diploma. I'm not saying it gotta be 4.0 GPA, but you need to have something. So if my kids got a clean home, they're being taken care of, they're getting allowance, the least you could do, bring me some fucking grades. Because I still, even with nothing, I still brought my parents something. I said, here's a fucking diploma. Shut the fuck up. Education to me is very important, especially for women. So I do understand why the parents were like, I understand you want to be in a relationship, but you worried about sex, then are you focusing on your grades? How's your debate? What are you doing? You know what I mean? Because at the end of the day, y'all could end up going bad and break up. And let's just say she graduate with a motherfucking negative 2.0 because she was distracted being in a relationship with you. I'm not saying it's a problem being in a relationship with you. I'm not saying that, but I can understand her parents' point of view to a degree. And to anybody that got anything to say, that's just me personally. This is my house. This ain't your house and I'm not your mama. So don't you even start. In terms of what you should do, what are you doing? Like, how are you doing in school? What are you doing in school? Is this relationship distracting you? Because this sounds like a burden. I'm not saying it's a burden, but it sounds like a burden. Like it seems like a lot of emotion and attention is being geared towards this relationship. Like, you don't got no fucking hobbies. You know, what happened to being a kid? I don't want to be that bitch that be like, oh, you're going to get in so many other relationships. But you're fucking 17, dude. You're 17. Enjoy your youth. Enjoy your youth. I'm not saying you need to go date around and jump and hop around and but it's like, you're 17. Maybe you guys need to take a break. That's also something that's fine, because you're 17. Do you have a license? Do you have a car? It's okay if you don't. Just asking, just questioning, because an hour is not far away. When I was a kid, I thought it was far away too. And I hit 18 and all of a sudden, like, it felt like my fucking frontal lobe developed. And I was like, oh, an hour is actually not that fucking far away at all. So do you have a job? Like, there's so many things I'm questioning about. Like, I'm not saying you necessarily need to have a job. Just because I worked at 14 don't mean you have to work at 17. That don't mean that at all. But it's like, bitch, I'll take an Uber to that. I'd take an Uber. I'd be like, let's meet in the middle. Let's go on a date. Tell your parents you have after school activities. Like there's, I just feel like there's just different ways that things could happen. But in the situation, it sounds like these are not options for y'all. But it also sounds like you need to focus on your fucking life. I was in a relationship when I was 17 and it was beautiful. It was with my first love, first time, all of that. And I loved him. But at the same time, there was a lot of moments where I was like, okay, I'm going to work, I'm going to school. I got to focus on me. Again, I had to drop out and lock in and get a 2.0 to a 2.7 before the year ended so I could graduate. And I was doing theater and I was going to competition. So it's like I had other things to worry about outside of a relationship because again, I understood like I'm 17. If it's meant to be, it's meant to be. I'm 17, I'm about to be 18. I'm an adult soon, okay? I want an update on that for real. The next person said, this story is relatively short, and I remembered it when I was listening to your podcast. This could just be a short little snack in between longer stories. This is basically how I found out that I was gay when I was 14. The town that I was raised in is overwhelmingly Catholic and homophobic. Everyone in my school was always one or the other or both. Throughout my life, I only had female friends. I had 1 or 2 guy friends. I would sit at the girls' table at lunch, and I would only hang out around girls. This led to jokes being made about me acting gay. This started in middle school and is still going on. Jerks and immature guys would ask me if I was gay, and if they were being serious or not, I would always say no, because at that time I was straight. One day, this upperclassman would start being nice to me, and he would talk to me occasionally, just making small talk in between periods. He was a cliche straight guy, tall, played basketball, and seemed to be a player. You can imagine I was surprised when he put his hand on my shoulder and started talking as we walked with a group of his friends. I brushed it off and walked away from the conversation. He would do these kinds of acts a few more times, and every time, I either wouldn't acknowledge it or leave the conversation. He did something to me. At this point in my life, even though I acted gay to some people, I was fully straight. I soon got excited whenever we would talk. I know it's super cheesy, but I liked him. At this point, I had found out I was gay, and I even told and came out to some of my friends. And despite them being homophobic and Catholic, they supported me because I was so nice to them. And they didn't care. Over time, my overthinking self thought he was trying to embarrass me. I've seen him do the same to other people. At lunch, he and his friends would throw food at my table and other people and laugh. What? Fucking badass kids, goddamn, just hit him right in the damn throat, wasted food. Wrong with you? One time, it ended up hitting my friend, and I would complain to my best friend that I didn't like him because I thought he was being rude to me. He was also friends with a lot of immature boys who would constantly pick on me for acting gay. Almost all the guys at my school would act and pretend to be gay. They would touch each other and say sexual stuff, and he would do that kind of stuff to his friends. Either way, I hated his friends. I was confused about our friendship. Did he want me to act gay with him? Did he just want to make fun of me to his friends? Did he want to be my friend? I kept getting mixed signals from him until one day he stopped talking to me. I have no idea what happened, but this was at the point where I stopped liking him because of the mixed signals he was sending me. I didn't know what he wanted from me, so I stopped liking him. Once I fully got over the crush, I learned from a friend of a friend that he was extremely Christian and even more homophobic. So even if I still liked him, it wouldn't have worked. And it's a good thing I stopped liking him because I was gonna confess to him. Ooh, and who knows how that would have ended. Now I have no idea where he is. My school is huge, and he was a grade above me. He graduated this June, and I haven't seen him since we stopped talking. I think about our brief friendship sometimes, and I still don't know what his intentions were, and I never will. If this makes it on the episode, in parentheses, it probably won't. I just want to apologize for my English as it's not my first language, and I love the podcast. I'm trying to get my friend to listen, and just overall, your podcast and your personality makes me smile and uplifts my day. So thank you. Well, you made it. You thought you wouldn't, but you made it. I love when people be like, oh, it probably won't. Don't say that. Who told you that it wouldn't make it? I'm trying to understand. Y'all know that I read these. So why are you like, oh, it probably won't make it? You're in the list. Like, you just need to be like, okay, when she reads it. Because that's what it is. It's not an oh if she reads it. It's when. Unless we have like thousands at some point, which we will. But it's right now, it's just we only got like 300 confessions in the queue right now. So like, we're really chilling, dude. I'm most likely gonna get across your story. So do not be like, oh, you might not ever read this because I just did. Yeah, you're right. That was like a little snack in between stories. I liked it though. Thank you for telling us how your gay awakening. Did I tell you guys my gay awakening? So I found out I was gay on July 4th when I was 12. My mom's best friend's cousin was a butch. And I was like, I kept staring at her And I kept wanting to be by her. Like, I just wanted to be near her. Like, and I would just stare at her and I would look at her and my heart would race. And I was like, oh my God, but she's a girl. But then sometimes I'd be like, I don't care if she's a girl. I thought my gay awakening was from a person that I met in school. No, my gay awakening was from that grown ass butch that I was like, damn, she fine, bro. The thing is, I think that influenced my current type because she had braids to the back. She had like, her clothes were nice. She smelled good. Nice little chain on. I was like, damn. I remember how she smells. I don't even know how to explain it to y'all. I just remember her just being so fucking fine. Mind you, I'm 12. I found out I was gay on the Independence Day of the land of the free, in quotations. The next person said, hi, I've been an avid listener of your channel on YouTube. Love you and your cats, but I just want to tell you my pretty terrible experience. Ooh, which I'm typing as I wobble in my heels at 4 a.m. in a city I don't know much of because of a guy. First of all, wobble in your heels, that's so fucking real. Walk around the house in heels. If you don't know how to walk in heels, just practice walking around the house. Do whatever you do, but do it in heels. That's how I got better at walking in heels. Or if you don't want to walk in with shoes in the house, put on high heel boots. That's what really taught me. I used to wear high heel boots in school, which first of all, serve, but that also helped me walk around in heels. So just start with boots and then go to heels and you got this. But this is so real. Also, why is a guy have you out at 4 a.m. walking by yourself wobbling in heels, bitch? I'm gonna continue because someone called me a misandrist recently and I said thank you. So I'm just gonna read before I say anything that people not gonna like. I don't wanna say my age since it might get you uncomfortable, but I'm a teen and underage, and tonight I had my first time with a man. I had sex before with girls a couple of times, but nothing much, and my only real boyfriend I've had was asexual. This guy, quite a bit older than me, had been talking to me online for so long, usually just a short little conversation until he asked if he could see my face. First of all, you knew damn well not to say your fucking age. I just want to start with that. Listen and listen good. The problem here is not that you're having any sexual experiences as a teen. It happens. And I understand that it happens because I lost my virginity at 16. So I understand that it happens. But how fucking older are we talking? I want to make sure y'all hear me when I say I am not going to condemn this kind of behavior. My profile pic is an outfit pic, and I said yes, of fucking course. He was obsessed and so sweet and chivalrous. He was fine as hell too, and we started talking in a more flirty way about a month until I found out where he lived, and that he lived in a neighboring town of my grandparents' city, who I always visit. So of course, when I was told we'd come here for winter break, Southern Hemisphere stuff, I asked him if there was any chance he could come to the city. Safe to say he wanted to, and he was my first time talking sexually to someone online. Now, when I tell you he was sweet and chivalrous, I mean he only talked about me like his queen, a ruler or god he had to worship, and I folded fast. Okay, so you got love bombed. Okay, all right, I'm listening. I'm a trans girl and overweight, but he made me feel so secure about my body with praise and love. He heard me ramble every night and tried to remember what I told him about diving and my culture as an indigenous woman in a land that isn't my ancestral one. He rarely talked about himself, but when he did, I fell more and more in love. Now, class, as we're listening, are you guys hearing what I'm hearing? I'm going to continue, but are we hearing what I'm hearing right now? Not judging, but are you hearing it? Until all he called me was mi amor. So I was looking forward to meeting him, of course. I got dolled up with high heels, a miniskirt, and rushed out of my grandparents' house that night. I saw him at a pretty shady hotel, but in the safe part of the city, and when I tell you my heart jumped as soon as I saw him. He was very tall and his accent was even more beautiful in person. His family are Haitian immigrants, and it's a Haitian man. Damn you, Haitian man. My ears just immediately got hot. And even though I'm not used to physical touch and I usually flinch at it, it felt so natural when he kissed my hand and held my waist to go to the hotel room. He lifted me up and carried me up the stairs and rocked my world. He kissed me all over and cuddled me for aftercare, but rushed me to get out because he was worried my parents would find out. So this man is most likely an adult. I was struggling to walk, especially because of my disability, but he, for the first time, didn't seem to care and rushed me out without even letting me get properly cleaned up. I was disappointed at the end, but while I walked out, I sent him what seemed like a paragraph of texting him how happy he made me, and I found out he blocked me. I went to every app we talked in and he blocked me, even the games we played. But he kept me on his Instagram just to send me a picture he took of me in the middle of it all without my consent before blocking me there too. Now I'm just crying, typing, and wobbling back home as I pretend to be on a call so no one gets close to me. This city isn't really safe at all. Maybe he just used me, but I can't help but feel like I wanted him to keep using me. In the words of the Cardigans, I don't care if you really care as long as you don't go. Should I try to talk to him more, or is this done for? Is there any chance there was a mistake? I feel like shit and I don't know if this is a common experience. I've never been taught how to handle this stuff. Sorry for the yap session. I just don't know how to feel. Is it common? Unfortunately, situations similar to yours does happen. Is it okay? Absolutely fucking not. First of all, where the fuck are your parents? Where are your parents? Where are your grandparents? Because they're supposed to be keeping an eye on you. And the fact that you were able to be wobbling back home at 4 a.m., that in itself is irritating to me. But at the same time, I get it. Some things happen and you can't control a kid 100% of the time. But that night could have gone very, very wrong, which it already did, but it could have been worse. But let me look at the situation logically. You know you're an underage girl. You know he's an adult man. You never met him. This is your first time meeting him, and you meet at a hotel. So that in itself could have gone really fucking wrong. I don't care how he brought you up to the room. He could have used a flying carpet like in Aladdin, and I still wouldn't have condoned what the fuck happened. So one, you could have lost your life. You could have lost your life for some attention. I need you to be careful, because this is probably not going to be the only person that notices how vulnerable you are, especially at your age, which, mind you, I don't know your age. Being wanted, being desired, being seen feels good. It really does. So that's why I'm like, a part of me does understand, but at the same time, lock in. I'm 22. I will never do a first meeting with someone at a damn hotel. Never put yourself in a closed space with someone you do not know. Even some people that you do know, they do horrible things to people that they know. So it's like, why trust this random person that you don't know simply because they made you feel desired? This is where, like, I be talking shit like, oh, self-love, self-love, self-love. But look at this. This is a young lady right here, very fucking impressionable. And because of the lack of self-love for who she is, she went to someone that she thought was loving her for who she is. It was all a fucking fable. And then a picture. Again, I'm gonna assume that you're underage, so that's CP. We're finding you. I'd make sure the coppers were on him, because you never know, he could be sending that picture out to other people. Like, coppers, immediately. I'm going to the hotel. Hey, I was here with the man. Can you tell me anything? Oh, you can't. Bring the police. Because you never know how many other girls he did that to. And that's terrifying. That's what I'm thinking about right now. I'm like, oh my God, that was so easy for him to do. You're probably either the first and not the last, or you're one of many, unfortunately. But this right here, this was never going to be love. I just want you to know that was never going to be love. Because even if they did stick around, that was just going to be control. And this is coming from a girl that's like, oh, I like older men, da 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 da. This is coming from control. I told you guys. My ex, before my recent ex, I was with him for like literally 4 months. And it's insane to say that with my chest. I was with him for maybe like 5 months, 4 to 5 months. He was 29. I was 19. The amount of control he had over me, my very fucking being, was disgusting. And I didn't notice this until now. All that was wanted was control. And that's everything I gave him. I gave him control over me until I noticed, hey, this isn't okay. I don't feel comfortable. I'm scared. I'm leaving. But you need to notice that for yourself. And that's where a part of that self-worth and self-love comes in. The next listener said, warning, messy ass story ahead. So we will start with the two central characters. A is a girl, B is the boy. A, B, and I were all friends before and after high school. I was in a brief relationship with A, but it wasn't anything crazy because I was a messy-ass, depressed 16-year-old. Explanation, not an excuse. I grew up in a verbally abusive home. I believe I ended up doing A and B dirty due to the broken mold I was given. Even though this is my situation, this does not absolve me from responsibility. A was being a shifty friend, and I kept forgiving her, wanting her to do better. She would tell me how she was such a bad friend, and I would console her. Repeat the cycle for about 3 to 4 years. I was also messy throughout this friendship too. B had a crush on me throughout high school. I would also talk mad shit about B to A because I was not able to accept that B is not that talkative, and I always thought it was my fault, which led my messy ass to talk shit to A. I took a summer semester off college to really focus on my mental health and even went to an intensive therapy group. Doing those for about 9 hours a week would obviously bring up shit that hurt. I had a feeling B had a crush on me before he told me when we were together, and I always wanted to have something to run away from my problems with. I was also friends with A at the point of this story. So I reached out to B for a casual hookup, which then turned to him confessing his feelings, and we got into a relationship. It was the first time for us both. I really wanted to rush sex. The sex was not good. In parentheses, not B's fault, he had very little sexual experience. And I started to reflect on the reasons why I started this relationship to begin with. I started to feel very guilty, as I felt I didn't love him as he was at the moment, and only liked what he could be for me. I don't say anything due to my terrible communication skills, which then led to my birthday. He buys me a 1K plus laptop, and I don't feel comfortable with big gifts. Me too. Oh my gosh, that's how I felt when, I spoke about it in the vlog, but like I had a guy I was talking to, he bought me the current laptop that I have right now, and that's like $2,100. I was like, whoa, you shouldn't have done that. Love it, thank you, but at the same time, fuck. You just spent $2,100 on a laptop for me. That's insane. I'm not like that anymore, but at the time, I felt terrible around my birthday time. The guilt got to me, and about 2 weeks after my birthday, I ended things off while venting my frustrations in a terrible way to A. About 2 months later, I was tired of A's shit. So I stopped being friends with her. Shields, B still was. Whilst, I'm gonna assume that they meant whilst B still was. Fast forward to this year, it's my birthday time again. B has been very cold and has not responded to my messages for weeks on end before my birthday time. A day before my birthday, I ask him if I can use him as a reference for a job, and he doesn't respond. I put him down anyway because why the fuck are you being weird about me wanting to provide for myself? I'm sorry, I just had to interrupt. You don't think that was a little bit of a selfish thing of you? Well, maybe you've reflected. I'd hope you did, but like, I put him down anyway because why the fuck are you being weird about me wanting to provide for myself? Let me think. Because you don't give a fuck about me? You only care about what I can give you? Like, what are we talking about right now? On the day of my birthday, I didn't get any texts. 2 days after my birthday, he posts on his story about how it's International Best Friends Day. While I understand I'm no longer a primary friend with B, I don't think a text is that hard to send. I've always been bad with birthdays, so around his birthday time, I would ask what day it was and if he wanted to do anything for it. No response as usual. My feeling is that my dirty laundry is being aired out by A, because a bit after I stopped talking to A, B would be a lot less responsive. This year, I'm so much better than I was last year. I've been trying to be a supportive friend and no longer a bad one. So am I just getting karma for my bad behavior, or do I have a justifiable reason to be upset? No, you're being selfish. Wake up. This is how the story sounded to me. Oh, B's cool. I can use him. And then A. Oh, A probably has stuff going on in her life, but I don't really care. I want to see what else she can give me. Oh, she doesn't agree with me. You know what? I'm going to talk shit about B to A because I can. And I'm going to talk shit about A to B because I know you probably did. This person says, hi, I love your videos so much. I listen in the gym and your videos give me a lot of introspection and entertainment. You listen to me at the gym? Oh God. I'm kind of flattered because I personally would not listen to me at the gym. Like, I feel like I'm the type of podcaster you put on when you're at the house, maybe doing some chores, maybe doing your makeup, you about to get ready and go somewhere. That's understandable. I'm going crazy listening to Brazilian funk and you talking about you listening to the random talks. Anyways, I wanted to ask for your POV on something that happened recently. I'm 19, male and gay, and came back from my first year in college in LA to Jersey. Since coming back, I've been talking with my old friend group more and have been making more plans to hang out and see each other. One person in our friend group was kind of controlling in a way. My friend group is pretty low vibrational, so to speak, and we don't feel urged to see each other every day or talk every day. Despite this, we're still close since we've been going to school with each other since pre-K and middle school. In parentheses, I've met certain friends at different pools in time, and the group really came together by middle school. The girl that I'm mentioning only really got added to our group during our senior year of high school, and since then, she's been an incessant to speak. And we've all found problem with her behavior. To add to this, she's not the type of parent to change her ideals or POV for another person, even a friend, when they try to confront her on her behavior. So when summer came and went, and we all went to school in different places, we kind of stopped talking to her. Now, of course, since we're back at home, we started hanging out again. Since being back, some of us can't hang out for certain reasons, such as work or lack of transportation, and instead of being understanding, she'd hop on her spam and talk shit about us, knowing fully well we're all on there. That's just fucking childish. This led to us chatting in a group chat on the side and expressing how we didn't like this behavior. One by one, some of us ended up cutting her off, mainly because she picked fights and my friends would stop talking to her. Most recently, I cut her off. Me and one friend went to hang out and I turned my location off so she wouldn't get mad at me that me and my friend weren't hanging out with her. Also, added context, she texted me earlier that day, invited me to her house, and I left her on delivered. Essentially, she texted me mad that I was with our friend and I didn't answer, so I essentially said yes, and I don't appreciate you stalking my location. Then I said, I find you very annoying, bye. Then blocked her and removed her off everything. As a result of this, she decided to text my other friend about this, calling me an F word and saying I don't remember which one it was, but remember when Kim lost her earring and one of her sisters were like, there are people dying, Kim. Yeah, that's kind of how I feel about this. Like, bro, you should have just fucking said that you don't want to hang out with her. If she invited you out that day, you don't text her back, you know she has your location, you're hanging out with her other friend that is also your friend, it's like, why are you being sneaky? Just say, like, girl, I'm not gonna finish reading that. I'm sorry. I'm like, we're gonna give more stories to the people that, need to be heard. There's a little bit left anyway, so I'm sorry if that was your story. My apologies. Just tell the bitch you don't want to be her friend. You could have did it in a more mature way. Just saying that. I know the bitch wasn't mature anyway, but that doesn't mean you need to stoop down to her level, period. Next person said, hey queen, I'm gonna try to keep it short because it's a lot. So immediately play Don't Trust No Niggas by Kia. Ooh, my sister has this man. I'll call him L so you won't get confused, who I never liked and can't stand, quite frankly. They've talked in the past and has been on and off because he played in her face about 4 times. This time he kept DMing her on Instagram, and it just so happened he did it literally as she broke it off with another guy. She gave L another chance and I was already over it. To give a little background, L used to work at our local high school and he got fired because on Valentine's Day of last year, a student posted a photo of them together on her bed with him shirtless, calling him her man. Mind you, he was dating a teacher at the school also. And let me gag you again, he also slept with another girl the year before and it was an entire video. Oh, that's your sister, but at the same time it's like, you condone that behavior, sis? He only didn't go to jail because the girls were freshly 18. Ooh, that's still weird though. So immediately I'm over it. Then to find out he doesn't have a job and only makes money, a decent amount but not a livable wage, from playing drums at church. He got his CDL and got a job but didn't show up because he wanted to drive short and not long distances. So he got another job installing washing machines and quit after 1 day because he didn't want to do that much lifting. Then one day, Elle, my mom, and my sister and I all went out for lunch, and the waiter, who had a higher pitched voice, came to the table and Elle immediately started making homophobic jokes about him. I'm over it because I'm not out, but I'm bisexual. And I find it very weird that you can be a borderline pedo, but talk about someone who may like men his age. Another issue I have is that he only practices his drumming and comes over to our house to eat and lie down and have sex with my sister all day. Yes, I know they have sex because I told my sister that I would like for them to keep it the fuck down because I can hear them, or just fuck when I'm not home at least. Because I think it's disrespectful how I have to either leave or block out the sound of them with music in the house I live in. Yeah, that's fucking disgusting. I love my sister, but I feel like I'm losing her, and I wouldn't have any issues with her spending time with him if he didn't feel like such a step back. My sister is a hardworking RN who makes a lot of money and will move out soon, but I don't want her waiting around with a bum who doesn't do anything but sleep, eat, fuck, and play drums. My mom and I confronted her, but instead of listening, she doubled down, had a crying fit over him, and said that we weren't listening to her because he taught her how to save her money. Of course, he knows how to save money if he barely makes any. I don't like him at all, but maybe she sees something we don't other than brokenness, pedophilia, lies, and laziness. Let's paint a picture, right? Here's you, here's your mom, and here's me. And we all going like this. This is us looking at her and shaking our heads. Because this just sounds like the beginning of a cycle of trauma. Because you know what's coming next, right? A baby out of wedlock. Ooh, big shocker. Whoa. What does marriage mean for me? It's not the matter of making the Oath to God. It's the matter of that's one of the biggest forms of commitment that you can ever make in your fucking life. And I want to make sure that the person that I'm with is committed enough to want to be with me for the rest of my life before they're committed enough to have to be with me because of a child for the rest of my life. Yeah, that's what it sounds like. Sounds like your sister got things going for her and she might get pregnant soon. So you better hope that she's using protection when she's getting railed in the room next door. If not, then that's her fucking ass though. This listener said, so my boyfriend and I have been together for 6 years. 4 of those years were long distance. Ooh, you're a trooper. Keep in mind, we're 22. He moved in with my cousin and I 2 years ago and immediately got a job so he can get a car, amongst other things. Well, fast forward to 2 years later, and he hasn't gotten a car, nor does he have any savings to show for it. Due to the nature of his job, he can come up on 6K randomly, which did happen, and we are seeing none of his money today. All he really does is smoke and play video games, and I'm at a point in life where I want more. He tends to poke fun at me when I do things for my own betterment, e.g. creating a budget, setting a workout plan, going grocery shopping with protein in mind, and is starting to really get on my nerves. He has said countless times during our relationship that he is gonna boss up for me, or start saving money, all for him to have nothing saved to this day. He invested in stocks a year ago, and I asked him where that money is, all for him to say he don't have it anymore. I'm already independent by nature, so living with 2 people and having one in my room constantly is starting to pick at me and almost hindering my journey. I've thought multiple times to just pick up all my stuff and run away, but I know that's not financially sustainable. I tried to break up with him twice in the past 2 years, but he is dead set on staying together and getting married, and all of this kind of scares me. I'm already kind of getting bored/tired of our relationship. I don't get butterflies anymore. Whenever we go out with friends, he finds a way to make my time miserable. Not intentionally, but why are you sulking around 3 other people who are obviously happy? Match the mood or go home, right? Damn. I feel bad because I don't want to dismiss his feelings, but it's like, bro, you don't even do shit. What are you sad about? Oh, work was tough? Where's the money you've been making at work? At this point, I've tried stepping away for a few months and tried to fall back in love with him, but I genuinely can't. It hurts so bad because I have so much love for him. I just can't fall back in love with him. And now the situation is getting really, really sticky because my old best friend, male, we used to kind of have a thing for each other, but we were 14, has been reintroduced in my life and we have been recently hitting it off. Not romantically, just platonically. And my boyfriend hates him. I don't really know what to do, but our lease ends April 2026, and I'm thinking of saving until then and really getting my feet planted into the ground, and then telling him he has to move back home because I am not the girl I was when I was 16, and I feel stuck in this relationship, which sucks because I do love that boy. I'm so sorry if this is so rambly. I haven't spoken about this at all to anyone. LOL. P.S. I love your content and your music taste. And you're overall my favorite podcast at the moment, so thank you. Thank you for this being your favorite podcast. Bitch, leave. Oh my God, start saving your money. What you need to do. Let me tell you what you need to do. Don't pursue anything with your friend. Y'all just keep being friends platonically. Don't be like, oh, something could happen in the future. Because what you need to do when you leave is you need to open up your horizons, okay? You guys have been together since you were 16, right? Yeah, so you guys have been together since you were like 16, 17. Girl, what you need to do is keep your motherfucking slots open. Babe, you're gonna save up your money. You're gonna keep going to the gym. You're gonna get right, sexy, and tight. And see what he does until January 2026. If by January 2026, mind you, you're still saving up your money. If January 2026, he doesn't have his shit saved up, you let him know, hey, we're done. The lease ends at this time. I will be moving out into my own place. You need to start saving up your money so you can move back home. And tell him exactly why y'all breaking up because of this, and that. And then he moves back to his parents' house and you start your life. And if you want a roster, you build your roster. If you want to explore with your friend that you was friends with platonically, then go and explore with that friend. Do not limit yourself. Girl, we are 22. Yes, I'm just saying I'm 22. Fuck it. People be like, oh, you're so young. Oh, you're so young. Thanks, I know. Now let's take advantage of our youth. The last listener I have here says, I'm emailing this to you because I for real cannot get onto that Pillow Talk forum to load. Love you, love you, love you, love you. But my emails are for business, baby. My emails are for business. I do love you and I understand. But if that's the case, girl, just send me a message on Instagram. I would rather you send this in on Instagram than send it into my emails just because it's for work. Anyways, hi, I watched the podcast and love it. By the way, you are so pretty. Oh, thank you. Here's the confession/story. Sorry it's so long. So it is summer, and that means that I, male by the way, am at home helping with housework. while I stay there and study/go looking for a job. This means regularly doing chores and yard work. Today I was doing said yard work because we recently cut down a tree and had it repurposed into mulch to cover up our yard with. Oh, that's cool. Me and my family decided to work on it because we are all free today as it happens. And so I have to shovel it in huge scoops into the cart to dump them in certain areas, which ended up causing me quite a bit of back pain. And so I'm working slower than everyone else, but by this point, my family starts to take notice and my dad calls me out on it and he is frustrated. Time goes by and I'm just tired and ready to take a break. But we persist and my mom ends up saying, "You are doing work twice as slow as me," which kind of hit a nerve, but whatever. So later, I get swapped out to help my dad who is cutting down a rose bush. And I'm supposed to put the cut branches away. And I ask if he can push down the thorny branches in the trash because he has the thick gloves. And he starts to say things like, "You need to stop asking those kinds of questions." And I'm like, "Okay, whatever, sorry." And he says, "Well, I have to say something and get it off my chest." And he says how he didn't like what I was saying to my friends about how I didn't enjoy being in the company of my family because they can be kind of mean and annoying. But he says how it was soul crushing. And at this point, he's berating me to the point of tears. But that isn't it, because I still have to work. Why you was talking shit about your family where your family could hear? Like, that's where we should start. Because I'm gonna be honest with you, my mom caught me talking shit about my family when I was like a kid. I'm gonna assume you're a kid. Is that rude to assume you're a kid? You didn't say your age, but I'm just gonna assume you're a kid. Like, I would not blink an eye about this situation at all, I'm gonna be honest with you. But I'm gonna still give you advice. Why the fuck were you talking shit about your family where your family could hear? Boom. And then also, what'd you say to your dad after, like, he said, "Hey, we heard you talking shit about us and it really hurt our feelings. Did you apologize?" I didn't mean it necessarily like that, or I did mean it just because this happened, and I feel really bad when you got, like, was there an explanation there where you both got out how you felt because of communication? Like, did you communicate why you felt like your family were being assholes? Because your dad made sure to communicate, "Hey, we heard you talking shit about the family, and we don't appreciate that." Y'all gotta stop talking shit where the people that you talking shit about is gonna find out. That's not how you talk shit. Y'all don't know how to talk shit. I don't personally talk shit, because one thing about me, unfortunately, I don't have a filter. And that gets me in trouble a lot. I'm practicing a lot more on how to speak to people and not be so blunt and direct and understand emotional intelligence. So I'm not going to be including any of the other segments in this episode. My apologies if this is short, but it's 1:41. And unfortunately, I've been recording since 9. And that's simply because just malfunctions. So the girl is tired, gotta wake up in the morning, because y'all know I'm doing my little trading classes. So the girl gotta wake up in the morning and she's already tired. So take care, brush your hair, and wash that motherfucking derriere.